December 3rd, 1842. Dearest Alice, oh how wonderful it was to hear from you. Your letter was awaiting me upon my return. I'm not entirely certain how that came to be, as we both arrived by ship. Perhaps my passage was so inexpensive that my vessel was obliged to travel more slowly. It was a most arduous journey, not on account of the choppy seas or the many tempests we encountered, but because I longed for the days we shared together, our delightful walks beneath the trees, to the ancient tombstones deep in the wood, divining what secrets those spirits might whisper. Each night I looked up at the stars and wondered if you beheld the same constellations as I. I am pleased to hear that you and your father are in good health. I've kept one of your jars of jam to savour over the coming months. It was a trial not to consume it entirely the moment we set sail, but I resisted, and I am glad I did, for I may yet enjoy it still. Oh, Alice, how grateful I was for all the thoughtful gifts our friends bestowed upon me at my departure. I felt quite like a king as I boarded the ship. I shall treasure those tokens all my days upon this earth, save the consumables, of course. Those have been eaten and drunk, all but that remaining jar of jam. Your letter has inspired me to write anew, and I have enclosed a few of my latest compositions, The Valley of Unrest and Spirits of the Dead. Despite their morbid themes, I confess it was our forest that lingered foremost in my mind as I wrote. I hope they may please you. I shall close now, ever hopeful that you will write again. Forever yours, Edgar. The Spirits of the Dead by Edgar Allan Poe. Thy soul shall find itself alone, mid dark thoughts of the grey tombstone, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again, in death around thee, and their will shall then overshadow thee. Be still. For the night, though clear, shall frown, and the stars shall not look down from their high thrones in the heaven, with light like hope to mortals given, but their red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever, which would cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, now our visions ne'er to vanish. From thy spirit shall they pass, no more like dewdrop from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God is still, and the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token, how it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries. Thanks for joining me today for the second poem in #Poevember25, hosted by Priscilla over at Release the Crafted. I need to get my book, it says here, there we go. Move all my bits and pieces. Now I've had some complaints. Where's Steve? I've been asked. So I've offered him some overtime and he's agreed to join Sydney Prescott for Poevember. Are you happy now, Laurie? Good. So let me just move this out of the way. And did you see on the letter we've got a little moon with a little cat? Is Edgar's Pluto there. Right, now we've got a lot going on here, so I'm going to move you over here because fire is dangerous. And good. So today's prompts are tombstone, secret, spirits, stars and trees. So did you notice any of those peeking through in Edgar's letter? Now, just to give you a bit of background about the poem, again based on research, because my symbolism is more in the art rather than the verbalization of what the poem means. Spirits of the Dead is a haunting, introspective poem that explores the connection between the living and the dead, the solitude of the human soul, and the eerie presence of the supernatural. It begins with the speaker addressing someone who has recently died, telling them that death does not bring true isolation, for in death the soul becomes more aware of the spiritual world that has always surrounded it. And the poem gradually moves from grief and loneliness towards an unsettling awareness that the dead do not rest entirely apart from the living. Instead, their spirits linger in the dim spaces of twilight, watching, guiding, or perhaps haunting those who remain. And Poe's tone is mournful, reverent, and filled with an almost sacred dread. So let's see what I made then, and just also to let you know that once Poevember is over, I will release the letters on my Ko-Fi for any of you that have been following Edgar and Alice's story, just in case you want to add those into your collection. So let's find the first one, which is Tombstone. Let's move Sydney Prescott over there, and let's find it. Oh, it must be this one. Yes, good. And here's the prompt list. So we've got Spirits of the Dead. So what have we got for Tombstone? Can you see? There we go. So for this page, I wanted to think like ethereal rather than gruesome. The poem's not about horror, it's about stillness, spirit, and the thin veil between worlds. So I wanted to convey a sense of quiet reverence, not fright. So I picked this page, which had this Gothic garden in the background, as I thought it gave kind of cemetery vibes. And I've taken this photo that I took of a tomb in New Orleans and very lightly gessoed over the top to make it look like it's kind of hidden behind some mist. And then there's a little moth flying in there. I've put this fence and these gravestones here, which I have die cut out and then dyed with black soot, scorched timber and walnut stain inks, and then sprayed with the pewter mica spray. So I'm wiggling it so you can see it shimmer. And then I put some crypt paste along the bottom here, and I put this Undertaker's word here like it was part of an old advert on the fence, and just put the word enclosure over here for bants really, because I thought it fit. I put one of Priscilla's bones, not literally one of her bones, but she made it, with the skeleton on along here, and I put the moon up here with Spirits of the Dead here, and over here I put the tombstone part of the poem, Thy soul shall find itself alone mid dark thoughts of the grey tombstone. Down here I put one of Priscilla's pockets, with these kind of ethereal looking ladies with black eyes here looking like mourners, and I wonder if the absence of eyes on these ladies is a bit of an Easter egg from Priscilla for the Black Cat story, and that Pluto has a missing eye. And then there's a coffin tag here, which Priscilla made for the kit too, with this beautiful raven on, and I backed it on this interesting bit of paper, and on the front I put some Release the Crafting words of a Poe quote from Annabel Lee. We loved with a love that was more than love. I and my Annabel Lee, which I thought was appropriate for the tombstone prompt, and you can see better the kind of Gothic garden in the background there. I don't know why there's purple there. I am covered in purple ink, and I haven't even used purple ink, so I don't know why that is. Is it because there's purple on the other side? Oh yeah, there's loads of purple there. But that's not why I'm covered in purple ink, because I made this last year. Just, yeah, I'm baffled. I'm covered in purple, I don't know why. Now let's move on to Secrets, which I think is here. I used last year's Poevember prompts for that one. Right, so I have used the Telltale Heart page in my journey, in my journal. So I had a page that had the Telltale Heart bit of it on there, so I've used that page, because what's the worst kept secret in all of Poe's works but the beating heart under the floorboards? Not that you can see that yet here, because it's being hidden away, bit like a secret, because the prompt is secret. And that's kind of how I wanted to portray secrets in this page, lots of hidden away things to kind of happen upon. So first of all, we've got this key here. Can you see it? This key hanging off the top of the page, something to unlock lots of secrets, held on by this wax seal here, which is a star. It's the same one as that, so I'll show you that in a second. And over here we've got this tag, which is holding everything on with a hidden paper clip here, and the which is another secret element, and it's this giant plague mask statue guy, callback to the Mask of the Red Death, standing behind this castle. Or is it a haunted palace? Who knows? Priscilla knows, because she made it. So if we remove that, then it reveals this envelope, which is sealed with a wax seal. So it's this star. Can you see that there? Never to be open, holding in secrets, never to be told. And if we flip the envelope down, can you still see? Then it says here, the boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. And it reveals this window here, which is a secret window, because who knows what lies beyond the glass. Can't see behind it. And then we've got this tuck spot up here in the corner with an eyeball, a nod to the spirits who see what mortals cannot. And tucked into this tuck spot is this card, which has a house on it, and it says dead above the door, because this is spirits of the dead, so it made sense. And if we turn this card open, there's some hidden illegible writing in the background, and then on top it says, tell me every terrible thing you ever did and let me love you anyway. And maybe this writing in the background is all those secrets being told, or maybe that's what's sealed in that envelope. Who knows? And then finally we have this framed picture on the wall over here of the skeleton. They read in a book, I don't know. And here we have the secrecy part of the poem. Not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secret. I think because Poe does this a lot, he writes it so that it rhymes when it writes, but it doesn't rhyme when it reads. So it says, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Secrecy. Anyway, but we can look behind this picture and sort of open this picture up. And we can see behind this picture there is this spirit guy with a bit of a sparkly coat on and his all-seeing eye there. So that's hidden away as well. And now you can actually see the words from Telltale Heart in the background. So that's my interpretation of secrets. Lots of hidden secret things to be discovered, or to remain a secret for eternally, or only visible to spirits, not us mere mortals. So let's put these things back, otherwise I will lose it all. There we go. So that was secrets. Now we're moving on to spirits. Is that this one? Okay. Spirits, right. So the spirit here in the poem is not just spectral, it's presence, memory, and the unseen current that runs through everything, which I couldn't really convey. So here's what I've made. So we start with this little flappy page, which has Amazing Grace in the background, which I always makes me think of like funerals and things. And then the spirits part of the poem on top of that there, and then some kind of billowing white tulle that's like a kind of ghostly presence. And then we flip this, and on the other side we have this picture from the kit, which I felt was quite spirit-like, the all-seeing eye, Edgar, who's also peeking over the top here as well. And then as we move across to the main page, I've got this big piece from the kit, which I felt was quite spirit-like. It's like half a head statue with some roses coming out, being buried by this house, which is all lit up red. And is it where the Red Death Party was, or is it the house where the heart was buried? And there's also this big spider in the upstairs window, which has no relevance other than I thought I'd point it out. So I've cut the picture in a way which means that some of it is a pocket, and inside we have this journaling card with this ghostly woman floating. Is she floating up or is she falling down? Who knows? And some more of the white tulle on top, and then I've backed it with some book page, gessoed it and sprayed it with distress spray. Then we have one of Priscilla's graves as another pocket, which was actually here in the page when I started. So like it was just one of the pages I made last year. I just stuck it on as a tuck spot, and I thought that's good. So I've put this tag behind it with another spooky looking woman on. She's a spirit too. And on the back I've stenciled some feathers, and then I've just put the word ghost stories at the top here, because isn't it everyone's goal that when you enter the spirit realm you continue to live on as a story forever? It's mine anyway. So that's and that's the rest of the picture. So it's all one picture. I just kind of cut up along there so that I could tuck the bits into it. So next up we have stars. So, and if you want to see like these other pages that I'm kind of flipping past, you can see my playlist from last year linked in the description of this video. Check out my final video that I recited the Raven and did a flip through. If you can hear like a whistling sound in the background, I think it's fireworks. Hopefully it's fireworks anyway. Right, stars. So think the eternal gaze. The stars are both far and near, lights of the dead, eyes of the divine, or memories suspended in the night. So I've made a sky, basically. I started by mixing a bit of blue with black paint and then just painting the page. Then I mixed some black texture paste into the paint and kind of splodged that over the page. And then I got some crypt paste and I popped some of that in the corner here. I mixed it in with the black. I don't know why, it just felt right. I then sprayed some of the pewter mica spray all over the page. Waited 97 years for it to dry, occasionally blasting it with a heat gun. And then I sprinkled some holographic embossing powder across the top and heat embossed that, so the stars element and more kind of subtle suggestions just twinkling in the background. So hopefully you can see it kind of twinkling. I put the stars bit of the poem here, tried to blend it in a bit. And then here I've put this page from the kit, which suggests the kind of earth part of the sky before going up into the solar system up here. And I've put what happened that night here, just for some reason. Definitely fireworks, if you can hear it banging. Luckily I have animals who do not care about fireworks. The cat is currently asleep by the window, not noticing, and Loki is asleep on the floor, so that's fine. Anyway, where was I? I put that here, I put that there for some reason. And put this pocket here with this moth with the red sky behind it. And then this tag, which I took out, with black cats, like in the black cat, but with all of their eyes, and their eyes looking like stars. I should have put some more of that on their eyes, shouldn't I? Some of that holographic heat embossing. Can't be bothered doing that now. Put my stuff away. And then it's got this creepy face in the background, like swallowing everything that drives along the road. And then I've backed it with this constellation paper and put part of the murders in the Rue Morgue at the top. And it's a basic looking page, but it's got a lot of kind of subtle layers just to indicate the depth of the universe and all the stars that are contained there forever. So that is stars. Now the last prompt for Spirits of the Dead is trees. So let's come back down to earth with trees. And more fireworks in the background. Okay, so for trees, I chose this page because it was next to this page, which has these lovely leaves on it. And I added some green paint to that blacky blue paint that I had for the stars page, and I used it to stencil these trees, tree trunks, and I added this, statue bone across here, just to kind of keep the spirits theme running through, and then stuck the rest of the poem up here on top of this leaf, which I brought home from a walk, and Mod Podge to try and keep it sturdy. I'm not sure if it's going to last. It's really hard to Mod Podge a dry leaf, because you just, unless you like dip the entire leaf into some Mod Podge, you can't really paint it on, it's hard. But I put this really dark pocket here with some trees on that you can hardly see, but they're there. And then I put this quote on top in these very woods. And then I got this tall tag, which again brings in both the spirits and the trees. It's got that creepy, the ring girl from the other one. And then I backed it with some of that gothic garden paper that I lightly gessoed, and then put this quote on top: "Life itself is but the shadow of death, and souls departed but the shadows of the living," by Thomas Brown, which is from Priscilla's Fanguary words about vampires, but I thought it suited this poem. And there we have it, the Spirits of the Dead prompts and Edgar's letter to Alice. So yeah, I hope you are enjoying my take on Poevember this year, and don't forget to check out the hashtag, thanks Loki, don't forget to check out the hashtag Poevember25, and head over to Priscilla's channel to see the amazing things that she is making for her Poe mini album. And thank you to all of my subscribers and everyone who is new here. If you enjoyed my video, bless you, Loki. If you enjoyed my video and you're not yet subscribed, then please do hit that subscribe button. And I would also love it if you could give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I will be back again for the next poem in 5 days' time, and perhaps with something else in the meantime. But till then, have a wonderful rest of your day. From me and Steve and Sydney Prescott and Edgar Allan Poe's candle. Bye.